There are moments in life when you sit quietly and think, God, what are you doing? Not because you don't believe in Him, but because what you're experiencing does not make sense at all. You prayed for one thing and something completely different happened. You asked God to open a door and somehow another one closed. You thought you knew where your life was going and suddenly you're standing somewhere you never planned to be. And sometimes the hardest part isn't the situation itself. It's not understanding it. But there's something beautiful about the Bible. God's people did not always understand what He was doing either. Take Peter for example. Peter spent years following Jesus. He saw miracles. He watched Jesus heal people. He heard Him teach. He believed Jesus was the Messiah. And then one night, Peter watched the man he believed would change everything get arrested. And suddenly nothing looked like the plan anymore. Jesus was supposed to be king, but now he's being beaten. He's being mocked. He's being crucified. And imagine being Peter and thinking, this isn't how it was supposed to end. But Peter did not know what God was doing on Friday. He didn't understand the cross. He didn't understand the silence. He didn't understand why Jesus had to die. But Sunday was coming. And that's something I want you to remember. You can be confused and still have faith. You can say, God, I don't understand this, and still say, but I trust you. Those two things can exist together. Look at Job, for example. Job didn't receive a neat explanation for everything he suffered. He lost things. He experienced pain. He asked questions. He wrestled with God. And eventually God answered him, not by giving him a detailed explanation of every event, but by reminding Job of who he was. And sometimes that's what faith looks like. Not having everything answered. Not knowing exactly how everything will turn out, but knowing who you are walking with. Think about Abraham. God told Abraham to leave his country and his family to go to a place God will show him. Notice something. God didn't give Abraham the entire map. He gave him the next step. And maybe that's why you are frustrated, because you're asking God, show me the next 5 years. And God may simply be saying, take today's step. You don't need to know everything. You need enough light for the step you're standing on. And maybe that's where you are right now. You don't know why the relationship ended. You don't know why the opportunity disappeared. You don't know why your plans changed. You don't know what next year will look like. And honestly, you may never understand every piece of it. But you don't have to, because you are not God. You are the person walking through the story. And the person writing the story can see pages the characters cannot. So breathe. You don't have to force an explanation out of every painful experience. You don't have to turn every unanswered question into a conclusion about your worth. You don't have to say, something must be wrong with me because this happened. Sometimes something happened, and that's all you need to know right now. Give yourself permission to say, I don't understand it yet. Not God has abandoned me. Not my life is ruined. Just I do not understand it yet. Because there is a huge difference between an unanswered question and a hopeless story. Peter didn't understand Friday. Abraham did not know the destination. Job did not receive every explanation. But God was still God in every chapter. And perhaps one day you'll look back at something that once broke your heart and realize, I was asking God for an explanation when He was teaching me to trust Him. So if you're in a confusing season right now, don't pressure yourself to have everything figured out. Pray. Take the next step. Cry when you need to. Rest when you're tired. Keep your heart open to God. And let tomorrow explain what today cannot. Because sometimes faith isn't saying, I know exactly what God is doing. Sometimes faith is quieter and simply saying, I don't know what you're doing, God, but I'm still here. and I'm still trusting in you.